Hello, welcome to the Triple Threat Podcast, a podcast where the three brothers Vaughn discuss things that are of interest to them that particular week. I am one of those brothers. My name is Matt Vaughn. I live in Halifax, Nova Scotia, also in Halifax, Nova Scotia. It sort of is Alex Vaughn. How are you,
The
Alex?
regional municipality of such. I've had better weeks, but here I am.
All right, he's a fighter.
Still standing.
Exactly, he's a survivor. And over...
I'm gonna give up. I'm gonna work hard. Keep on surviving.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's what I was quoting, so it's all
Okay.
good. Yeah,
Good.
of course.
Quoting a Destiny's Child song that I then sang.
Exactly. And
I sang the song.
The Beyonce of the Triple Threat Podcast in Vancouver, Will Vaughn.
There's somebody say my name.
I have a protest, but that's okay.
So who would be
Just
the
feel like
Kelly? Who would be the Kelly Rowland, and who would be the other one?
I'll be the other one.
Oh,
I'll jump on that.
Of the Air Farce,
Air Farce,
the
three
tenors,
and the other
Ronnie
guy.
Pavarotti, Placido Domingo, and the other
The
guy.
other guy. Who was it? No one knows.
No one. Something Italian. Nobody knows.
Something
I actually
Italian.
feel like looking up who the third member of Destiny's Child was because I feel bad. For that.
Sorry, member of Destiny's Child. Hopefully
By the way,
everything's going well for you since.
The first song that comes up under Destiny's Child is Survivor, so there you go.
Good.
Not Bills.
I also have to stop saying,
Shocking.
oh, Michelle Williams. There you go. I also have to stop saying, there you go. Michelle Williams.
There you go.
Look up the three tenors.
I said what you have to stop saying. See?
Everything I've tried to stop saying, I failed miserably. Like I've said, I'll stop talking when we're still doing the intro before the song. Remember I said that, and then I kept talking that time.
Talking, yeah.
It's
I say horrific a lot. I've come to realize that.
Absolutely.
Completely on my
It's a
own.
word
That's
I use
okay.
so much.
Yeah,
That's
man.
okay. You can stop saying that. The third member of the three tenors is Jose Carreras.
So close.
What was the name of Shawn
and they're
Michaels'
Italian.
trainer? Shawn Michaels' trainer?
Jose Lothario.
Thank you.
Actually, two of them are Spanish, and the only Italian one is Luciano Pavarotti.
Pavarotti, for sure.
Which one's Jose?
Placido Domingo is.
Yeah, those are all
Domingo's.
very Spanish names.
Yeah. Domingo's a very Spanish name.
Spanish for, is that not
Dominic.
Sunday? For Sunday, I want to say.
Now I gotta look up the days of the week in Spanish.
All right. So,
All right.
folks, we are going to be talking
Wednesday
about
Adams.
this week. We're going to be talking about some things that we saw, I think. We're going to talk about a peaceful resolution to a conflict that didn't happen, and a few other things, all coming up this week on the Triple Threat Podcast. Welcome back, everybody.
If you were asleep, you are no longer.
No
Or nodding off.
longer.
It is Monday morning, and now you're up.
And now you're up. So
Why
last,
do we always
Yes.
say where we are?
where are we located in the globe? I don't know. In case we want to get more Halifax and Vancouver listeners, they can be like, "Oh, he's where we are."
We need to use
Can you-
hashtags when we promote this thing.
Yeah, Google search the what's the word I'm looking for? We talked about it before.
I don't know, Alex. I just
You
don't
know when you listen to something, but you can read it. Transcript. There we go.
Wow.
Do we have the transcript on there? I don't know. People are going to Google what you're saying. Is basically my point there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So last week, I'm gonna try to pull.
Turn me up. Yeah.
I'm gonna pull back the curtain a little bit. Last week, we almost talked about something on the Triple Threat Podcast that I'll be honest, and this might be an understatement, I was reluctant to discuss on the air.
Yeah, that is an understatement. I would call it being a big baby.
No,
I
was not being a baby.
Yeah, you
You
were
were.
being a big
No, I
baby.
wasn't.
Yeah, you
By
were.
the way, Spanish for Sunday is Domingo.
What's his name?
Domingo. It's
Oh, okay,
Placido Domingo.
Nice, nailed it. So his name
Yeah.
is,
Oh, he's
his
a
name is-
pitcher for the Yankees.
For the Yankees, that's a little racist, dude.
Why?
A little bit racist. A little bit.
I would say it's a lot racist.
So last
So
week,
peaceful resolution.
last
to a-
week,
Peaceful
I
sipping.
received from my
Now,
mother.
who stirred the pot here? Who started this
I feel
ordeal?
like the blame. Oh gosh, I don't like saying blame in relation to this person. The blame falls on the shoulders of our fantastic mother. She sent a text message this week, and it was a picture of the Nintendo consoles and video games that we had as children, minus the Nintendo Entertainment System, the original NES. Where is that in the world? Do you know what that is?
It's with Carmen Sandiego.
I think it's in the garbage dump. I think they just threw it out.
That's horrible. If we just threw it out, by the way.
Well, you're in their town, man. You can go over and check check our spider infested basement.
There's no way it's in the basement. We would have unearthed it by now. But
we gave it.
In the picture was a Game Boy that I think I got for like $2 at a yard sale.
I'll Instagram this, by the way. I'll Instagram this photo in relation to the podcast.
So there was a Game Boy there. There was a Super Nintendo. There was an N64, and there were various games in there. So, and essentially, Mom sent a text, I believe, to all of us saying, "Who wants what?" Which to me was like,
that's not what she sent to me.
What she said to you?
She said, "This is all yours."
No, she said. Something about, hold on, talk amongst yourselves for 8 seconds.
Anyway, man, how did you take that?
5.
We are to talk among ourselves when you're
7,
saying words.
8. Mom said, highest bidder on Kijiji, question mark. And I sent back, don't you dare, with an exclamation point.
So
she said the same.
I exclaimed. So you didn't get that one, Matt?
No, I got that. I don't memorize my mom's texts. I'm just trying to tell a
story. Neither do I. That's why I had to go back and look at it.
Why did you go back and look at it? There's no point. Moving on.
Because that's not what she said, and therefore it changes your story.
It doesn't change the story.
What is the story?
It's unimportant. So I saw this
Morning
text.
Glory.
Of course, Mom was never going to please on Kijiji. But
I think she was if we didn't ask for it.
No. Well, no, I'm saying she never was going to because we would have jumped all over it.
Right.
So looking at this, all I saw was like, darn, I want almost all of these things. I feel like my brothers also want these things. This is a conflict that is ripe. I don't know necessarily how to fix this. And then last week before the podcast, we hadn't discussed it. And so we thought, well, let's talk about it on the air. But I was like, no, what if we talk about it on the air and we get mad at each other, we get upset.
One of us starts crying
for some reason. I don't know.
That makes for great podcasting. That makes for a great show when it gets so real.
I'm not willing to
the show got real this week. You're not willing to get that real?
No, because I mean that is the philosophy of a reality show, and this is a podcast, not a reality.
This is a reality podcast. We
are not keeping up with
a reality podcast showcast.
The showcast.
Yeah.
So
that's why we call it the Jersey Shore cast.
But this week,
that's the only reality show I know.
I think between the three of us, we exchanged like 4 text messages, and it was all cleared up.
It was very
Who wants to explain this? Well, I think
the first.
I got this. Okay, so November 25th, 1988.
A miracle unto the world was.
Thank you, guys.
Was born. No, we're
two brothers get along totally fine, and then sorry, go ahead.
And then there's a wrench in the plans, a monkey wrench in the gears. That's what we called a monkey wrench back in the day. Well, the first problem with this Nintendo thing is that I live in Vancouver, so if I was like, yeah, I'll stake my claim on the N64, for example, which is pretty much the hot button issue because a friend of mine out here had a friend of his N64 for a while. He had 4 controllers, so it was really a lot of fun to go over to his house, play GoldenEye, play Mario Kart, play Mario Tennis. This is in the year 2000. You know, this is last year, so it was like 13, right? And he's got an Xbox 360 sitting there that we can play, but we decided to kind of jump down the rabbit hole and play some old games. But the first problem is I live in Vancouver, so if I'm like, yeah, I want the N64, Mom has to be like, okay, I'll hold it for you until you come here at Christmas time, and Matthew and Alex may never lay a finger on it until then. Another problem is, I mean, for me, Matt, you had the N64. Things for us, like I got all the wrestling DVDs. I took all those with me when I came to Vancouver. Things just have a way of just kind of siphoning out because when you're a kid, your parents buy the games for you and the game consoles. So they're a property of all 3 of us. And then when you get older, it's like, well, the parents aren't going to keep it, so it's got to go to somebody, and we all kind of have equal claim to it, except for Alex, who, when we got the N64 at Christmas, did not want it. He was upset.
Admittedly, I have no claim, which is why I don't care about any of this.
Yeah, okay.
So I just want to make that clear.
So I think Matthew was under the Okay, NPR. I think Matthew was under the impression that we all maybe wanted it, and we were all willing to fight, perhaps physically,
murder each other, for lack of a better term, murder.
But I also have a Wii U here that has Virtual Console, so I have Star Fox and Mario. Matt, we just played Mario earlier this year. I have
just earlier this year
Mario Kart, and I have just earlier this year. In February. Well, that was early. So my long-winded point is that to me it was obvious that Matt was going to get everything, and we didn't really have to discuss it. We would have reached that conclusion. I was just going to be like, I don't know, I kind of want it, just to agitate Matt because
which is hard to do. It's very difficult.
Exactly.
He's unassailable.
He is unassailable. Well, to your credit, Matt, you got better. We went off the highway in Washington one time, and you got kind of upset for a minute, and then you were fine.
Well, we could discuss that also.
Off the highway. What do you mean?
Discuss that. Okay. We'll discuss it.
Let's finish this up first.
Let's wrap this up.
Let's finish this up first. So
we're doing a good job this week.
Will, you essentially said, I'm fine. I'm good. You said I'm good. And at that point, I was like,
I don't live there. They can't ship the stuff to me. It's an issue of location. If I was in town, I mean, I would honestly, with respect, I would sooner buy an N64 from like a flea market or something than take our old one.
Burn.
And that's obvious.
Take that old N64.
We had some good times, but it's back in the house. And also, Matt, when you had your bedroom where it was in the house, you put the N64 in that room.
Yeah, and I used it a lot. I would write papers for university and then be like, let's play some GoldenEye for a while.
Well, I've said this.
WCW versus NWO pretty much constantly.
I've said this before on the show, but I remember, Matt, when you were visiting, we were playing Mario 64, and you were like, oh, yeah, that's not the right penguin for this level. Grab the other one. You knew all the secrets. And I'm like, how did you know all that? He's like, I played it a lot in university.
Yeah.
I played it a lot a couple of years ago.
Exactly.
It was right there.
So he remembers it. So, Matt, how do you feel about our resolution to the issue?
It was fairly peaceful. Alex wanted the Super Nintendo. Peaceful. I want to say, Alex, what was your thought process there at the Super Nintendo?
I thought, I want that.
I want that. And then a guy came through the bushes.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. So
Turn
anyway,
me up. Yeah.
It was very much a relief for me the way that it turned out, the way that it worked out for me.
It was like holding in pee for a really long time, and then you didn't have to hold that pee in any further.
Exactly.
Do you have them in your possess now, Matthew?
No, probably tonight. I would think.
Oh no, sir.
Oh no, sir.
No.
We don't know
one more step.
Monday night you're going over to pick it up.
They say there is one dead Chinese man for every mile of the. I'm just quoting something. I didn't murder anybody.
Yeah, why did you have to bring that line up?
Because I was taught. Because that's the only one I know.
It's so
what's
grim.
the step? What's the step? I might be missing out on this.
So grim.
Oh, there's no step. But late breaking news. I am currently at Mom and Dad's as we speak, and I just found 3 games sitting right in front of me as we talked about this, and a red controller. Star Wars: Shadow of the Empire.
Nice.
WWF: No Mercy.
No Mercy.
And last but not least, The Legend of Zelda. Ocarina of Time.
See,
nice.
Ocarina of Time's gonna be good because I'd play that game and my wife would watch. She'd be like, "Oh, this is really interesting, really good." And then I gotta wait for N64, so now I gotta get it and play it. Which is funny because as a child, when I was incapable of playing video games, I would often request
wore a younger man's clothes.
I would ask people to play games. I would get my babysitter, older brothers, etc.
Yeah, the babysitters were always better. They were always better at video games than we were.
Yeah, because they were like teenagers.
We were
12.
pretty
I don't know how old they were. They felt like they were like 18
They're like
years
40
old.
years
I found
old.
out when she was 10. When I was 10, she was 13. I thought she was like 25, 30. By the way, John Mulaney is on the WTF podcast today. So if anyone wants to check that out, John Mulaney, awesome. One of the greatest stand-up comedians of the past, year. And he's on WTF with Mark Maron. So that's going to be a good one.
When did his albums come out? A couple years ago?
New in Town. That was probably 2011 now when I think about it.
Around there. And then
might be 2012.
What's the one before that? Do we never remember the name of that one?
The top part.
He recorded it in San Francisco.
Well, we'll just
the
say
top
the
part.
Top part, yes.
The top part.
Which is referring to the baby.
You call it the top part. I recently bought 2 albums thanks to the 10-Minute podcast. I bought Chris D'Elia's White Male Black Comic and Brian Callen's Man Class. and I enjoy both of them. I saw Brian Callen in Vancouver a couple of months ago, and I like his whole shtick, his whole thing about how he's just like so. It's hard to describe. He's so masculine. He's just one of those guys who sounds like he knows a lot, but really he's just an idiot.
He's great. I think he's great. He had his podcast is because he's got two. He's got the Brian Callen podcast and he's got 10-minute podcast, which is
and he does the Fighter and the Kid with Brendan
Schaub.
I wanted to say Brendan Schaub, but that sounded like the wrong thing. But you're right, Brendan Schaub.
Brendan Schaub, UFC fighter,
UFC fighter,
football player. So he's great. Brian Callen's really interesting, kind of like a Joe Rogan light, for lack of a better term, I guess.
And he goes on Joe Rogan's podcast a whole bunch.
Yeah, because I know Matt is not a fan of the Joe Rogan podcast, but maybe check out the Brian Callen. Ryan Holiday's been on it, author of The Obstacle is the Way.
Long one.
Yeah.
Okay. You have read The Obstacle is the Way, Alex?
A couple times now.
Really?
That's probably one I'd read annually, just to kind of go back and read that, go over it again. So that and Letters of a Stoic, still into that as well. So
I would
actually have a lot of books I bought that I really want to check out. So
I want to review a book I just read.
Yeah,
I read Michael Caine, The Elephant to Hollywood. The Michael Caine autobiography. It's actually Michael Caine's second autobiography because in 1992 he wrote his first one called What's It All About, kind of documenting the first half of his career. But at that point he had thought his career was over because he was a leading man in all these movies, and then all of a sudden he's getting parts to be dads in these movies, and he's kind of like, oh, okay, I used to be the leading man and now I'm dads. I don't think it was kind of a real blow to him. And of course he has this. At the time of writing, he's like basically making Inception in 2010. So from 92, it kind of documents the 18 years, but also documents the first little bit through the 60s. And this guy was really interesting. Basically, anybody of note that you could imagine him having contact with, he's had contact with them in the 60s, 70s, 80s.
His own Forrest Gump type adventures.
Basically.
And then I pressured at Nixon.
Yeah, it's like someone asked him, he's like, "Do you believe in God?" He's like, "Well, if you had my life, you would." Like he's such a lovely, such a lovely man, and he writes it with such humor, and he's really not afraid to kind of poke fun at himself. But yeah man, he's had a life from being evacuated in World War II to fighting in Korea to meeting the Queen. He got knighted. He's got a star on the Walk of Fame, and he's got everything.
You got to think the Queen has a crush
Pierre
on Michael
Cedric
Caine.
has a star on the Walk of Fame, so I mean, come on, what are we talking about here?
No, it's not the star. I don't. You know what? Because there's thousands of stars on the Walk of Fame. Vince McMahon has one, and Nickelback does too.
Oh, did I mistake it with something else? I'm such an idiot.
No, I think I did it wrong because there's the Hollywood Walk of Fame with all the stars, and
there's a Hollywood Walk of Shame, which is the night after the Oscars.
Yeah. Well, Eli Roth, when he recorded his Talk is Jericho show earlier this year, he showed up to Chris's place, wherever Chris was in a hotel, hours late, still in his tuxedo, because he went to an after party at Madonna's, and he just stayed out all night, got up late, got in the cab, went to Jericho's place to record the podcast, still in his disheveled tux, and Chris loves that story. It's just such a funny, such a Hollywood thing. But there's the Walk of Fame, and there's the one where you just kind of write your name in the concrete and you put your hands in there. I think R2-D2 did that. I guess it's the Walk of Fame. I don't know if I just read this book, but I don't know if it has a different term or not. But anyway, Michael Caine, I was wondering if he was knighted, because I was like, I think he should be knighted at this point. So shouldn't he be like Sir Michael Caine, not Mr. Caine? And he said that when he got knighted, he's like, don't worry about calling me sir. Like, that's kind of an accomplishment for me and my family. I'm not really so concerned about being referred to as sir. So he's a humble knight, one of those rare humble knights. Not like a Sir Ian McKellen who has to flaunt it all the time. You know what I mean? A big jerk. But I recommend
or
Dame
Judi Dench.
Yes, exactly. That
just kidding. Judi Dench is the greatest.
Woman. Star of the second best exotic Marigold Hotel. Yes, it's getting a sequel.
Yeah,
which it is. It is
because people over 60 still buy movie tickets.
Exactly, and Dev Patel's in it. Michael Caine, the best autobiography I've read to feature a recipe for snails at the end. So definitely check it out if you're into cooking snails. That is not a joke. It actually happened. But
it'd be a weird joke. That'd be the most random joke of all time. I think we all like a little, whatever you call that, escargot.
Escargot, my cargo. To quote Mr. Notorious Big. So that was a book I read. I did watch a movie Michael Caine was in too.
You're going to tell us nothing about in any detail, right?
Yeah, don't.
There's really not. Yeah, no. Guys.
I know.
Hey, it's me.
Why do we do that? Why do we shush animals? I have to say that every time I say shush because I don't know.
You didn't finish it.
They've never spoken.
There we go.
Okay, we're good. And you're a horse. All right, we're good now. Guys, we're good.
Okay.
Guys, we're good now.
For real.
Bros, it's all good, bros. So I get the N64.
No, yes, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
See, this is what last week's show is going to be.
This is what and we'll just
bring up, be like, oh man, I haven't played the Mario
I wish Matt
World.
threatened me like he used to back in the day. Matt's go-to threat was that he was going to punch me in the face. As if that would be it.
Alex,
as if there's nothing else.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear. How many times in our childhood did I ever punch you in the face? Even up to this moment. How many times?
Even up to this moment?
Yeah.
You've never punched me in the face.
Zero times.
Once.
That's one of the worst. That was not intentional.
Yeah,
was it?
From
man.
time, but we never punched each other in the face.
I forgive you. Man.
Don't try
I've
to.
never had a chance to tell you I forgive you, but I forgive you.
Oh wow, this is beautiful, man.
This is an
you're my brother.
Yeah.
That's about it. Actually, that's the only reason I forgive you.
I still love you.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
So, you saw Interstellar.
All right, intergalactic, planetary, intergalactic.
I'm gonna start my review of Interstellar like a Reading Rainbow review. Have you ever wondered what's beyond the stars? Chris Nolan writes Interstellar.
Just Chris.
A story about people going on the far reaches of space to save mankind. It's a pretty good movie. I like it because of space. But you don't have to take my word for it. So that's my review of Interstellar.
Nice.
Very spoiler free. I thought you would appreciate that.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see that.
Would you give it out of? Do you have a rating for it that you like?
I don't think I want to give it a rating. I don't want to give it star. Oh, stars would be kind of appropriate. I don't want to give it stars. I don't want to give it numbers. I don't even want to give it like a letter.
How do you feel about it compared to like an Inception? You liked Inception more, I imagine.
No, I liked Interstellar more.
Seriously?
Oh, wow.
Okay. Sorry.
Why'd you ask me that?
I just assumed
huge expectations.
Don't. Okay. I should mention this that Inception I wasn't the biggest fan of either. I wasn't like as in love with. I'll admit I wasn't as in love with it as everyone else does. I have it; it's in my collection because it had a coupon for Dark Knight Rises, I believe. Rises. So I enjoyed Interstellar a lot, but you have to understand that I have a real soft spot for outer space, and I have especially a soft spot for deep space stuff, and a soft spot for McConaughey after watching True Detective.
Oh, McConaughey! I hear you like to pick things up a notch.
So Interstellar, it's a big flick. It's a long flick. Take a wee before going in to see it. But don't let anyone tell you anything about it. The less you know about this movie, the better. Which is too bad because I think in the ads and the trailers are showing too much stuff. But
I was surprised with what the trailers showed because I've heard a couple things about this that I was displeased with. A couple things I was like, I don't think I wanted to know that information, but.
Yeah, it's like let me see the movie. I'm going to see the movie.
Yeah,
it's a
like
big
Inception for me. I was like, all I need to know is Chris Nolan's in it and Leo DiCaprio's in it, and I'm good. Yeah, I just call him Leo DiCaprio. I didn't mean to, but I can't go back now.
I call him Nardo.
Like, all it showed was like the glass tumbling and maybe like I think the hallway twisting. I was like, all right, don't show me anything more. And then as each progressive ad, each ad came out afterwards, they tell you a little bit more. So I just sit there in the theaters with my ears plugged and my eyes closed, humming loud.
Yeah, I know someone who did that. I know someone who did that for the Godzilla trailers.
I hate movie trailers.
I like movie trailers for movies. Like I saw a trailer for Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Oh God! Does he go to Africa?
No, he goes to Vegas. And he is a security guard at a casino with a ragtag group of security guards who are all fat and portly like him.
I kind of want to see it already.
Oh my gosh! I saw a trailer this week that I thought looked really good, and of course it looks really good. I don't know if did you guys get to the trailer for Selma, the biopic about Martin Luther King Jr. and the civil rights movement?
No.
Who plays MLK? Jay.
I don't remember the name of him. He's been in a couple things before, but not much.
Is he the guy who was Jackie Robinson and James Brown?
Is he the guy from Get On Up?
I don't think so.
I think he's slated to play somebody else.
Ugolo.
I know Andre 3000 from Outkast is playing Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Actually, this guy is in the guy who's playing MLK is in Interstellar. Interesting.
Oh, there you go. But it looks really good. He looks really good in it. It's always good to see a movie where
I think we'll just prove that there's only one black guy in Interstellar. Oh,
I thought there were two.
Got it. I don't know.
That's a spoiler.
That's funny. That's funny.
The black guy in Interstellar. Oh, him, yeah.
His name is pronounced O Yellow O.
Really?
Awesome.
Is he
OYELOWO? He is
He's
British.
God.
He's from Oxford.
Makes me blood red mad.
One thing I like about the trailer though is it makes Martin Luther King look like a regular person doing something extraordinary, like somebody who is heroic, but not someone who is like so heroic that doesn't seem like a superhero. It doesn't seem like he's like not a regular human being, which is nice because you look at that and you're like, that's right, Martin Luther King.
I thought Gandhi did the same. Just a young man lawyer out of India, and then he does kind of the whole thing. So
I haven't seen that one.
Gandhi.
You haven't seen Gandhi? You haven't seen Gandhi?
No, of course not.
Oh my God! It makes everything Ben Kingsley's done since look horrific.
It is a wonderful,
not good.
It is a wonderful movie. It makes him, It makes.
Here's what you do, Matt. Here's the Ben Kingsley marathon: Gandhi, and then the Love Guru, and then that's really all you need to see. That'll take you.
Iron Man 3
there.
No, Lucky Number 11. He's good.
Yes. Oh, Lucky Number 11. Yeah. But really, just those two that I mentioned are really the important ones.
He's the guy who throws the sir around. He's not messing around.
No, he's not messing around.
Well,
especially after Love Guru, he was like, "Remember, I was knighted, and you can't take that back." So
exactly. Can't unknight me.
And he runs around like kind of childish.
Who do you think out of this crop of this is like slightly on topic?
Who between the three of us will become knighted?
Me?
No, can we get knighted? We're part of the Commonwealth.
I've been knighted. I don't know.
We can all get knighted. I'm hoping we all get united together. I hope that.
Don't we get for the podcast, right? I think we get like the Order of Canada. Isn't that the thing we all get?
We could get that, yeah.
Coming up on the Triple Threat podcast, the friggin' Queen of England.
We all win the Order of Canada.
Yeah. Hey, it's Will from Vancouver. Matt and Alex are over there in Halifax, and all the way from Buckingham Palace.
Her Royal Highness.
Liz, what's up? What's up, Lizzie?
How you do?
Okay, well, there goes our chances then.
Just keeping it real. She's all hip hop and cool. How are you? Fly
keeping it real. As we all know, it's just a hip hop thing.
Alex,
what about when keeping it real goes too far?
Alex, you see some movies you want to discuss this week?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't seen a movie in months. I just read now.
Oh, no.
That's probably a good idea.
So, just little critter books, too. Like, not anything of note do I read. Just little critter
books. That is excellent.
Little critter books. Who are they again?
What?
The little critters?
He wants to know who the eponymous little critter is.
You don't know who they are? I don't really know how to answer that. Who are these little critters?
Are they a Richard Scarry kind of person?
Yeah, Yeah, no, I did see a couple movies I wouldn't mind discussing. I don't know to what extent. Will's seen them both as well. Matt has seen. As far as I know, neither. Is that correct, Matt?
It depends on the movies. I think I know what you're going to say.
We discussed this. Oh, my God. We already talked about this. Hold on. Let's start this podcast over.
All right.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Triple Threat Podcast. My name is Alex. I'm Halifax.
This podcast had 3 intros because I fake introduced the Queen just 5 minutes ago.
Oh, there we go.
You know this is fake because Alex is actually doing an intro.
We need more intros. Yeah, well, every time we do the intro. Alex, you want to do it? Nope. No, I don't.
We need more intros.
Yeah.
Show so far.
We need more intros.
That was one of our reviews
podcast of intros.
One of our reviews on iTunes that everybody has written and gave us a star rating. Roted. Well, Interstellar, very smart scientific movie. I saw a movie very similar to that, starring Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. Yes. Alex, I'll let you go take the lead on this one.
Oh man,
what are your expectations going into this movie?
Very, very, very low expectations because I had seen the trailer. I don't know, very low expectations on purpose. I said, you know what? I don't want to have any thoughts going into this. There's no way it's going to be nearly as good as the first one because you got 20 years to live up to. Like, I didn't really like it in 1994 because I didn't really get it. But, as it builds up, into 1990, 2000 or whenever you start watching a lot. And the more you watch it, the more things become, you become aware of more kind of jokes in the movie that I think I finally picked up after, 5 or 6 times. So, it kind of has a certain, what's the word I'm looking for?
You're looking for it. I would call it the seminal comedy of our generation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would agree with that. So when they come up with the sequel 20 years later, you kind of have to manage your expectations a lot. And even with my managed expectations, I would say the movie was not good. At all. I was not a fan. I'm interested to see what Will says about it, and I don't want to give too much away. I didn't like it as much as I liked Inception. I'll say that much.
Very
so
similar
it's a good
movies.
Comparison. Very, very similar movies. So, it was kind of just fell like everything. It was a lot of dud jokes in it. A lot of duds for me personally. So, if I would recommend anyone to see it, I would say no. Please maintain the last remnants of it in your mind and don't bother ruining it with this new one. But I'm also interested in hearing a little back and forth.
Well, I'll agree. It's not a good movie.
Okay.
But me and my friends I went with, we laughed a bunch. I laughed a few times. I will say that. No, I know we laughed a few times. We laughed like a bunch. It was good to see the characters again. It was good to see the Farrelly brothers directing it again. I mean, clearly they're kind of, especially the Farrelly brothers. I don't think they've made a really good comedy since what? Something About Mary, which is now like 16 years ago.
Yeah, 98,
something like that. So that was a long time ago.
6.
But I'll say they basically, they don't try to repeat what they did. They just kind of give it the same kind of pattern. It's a road movie. They end up someplace that 2 dumb guys really shouldn't end up, and kind of hijinks ensue. So I'll say, as opposed to Alex, for me, the gags hit more often than they didn't. It was certainly a lot more crude than the first one was. They resorted to a lot more gross out gags, like some real nasty stuff. What else? Oh yeah, there's some stuff they kind of brought up and where it looked like it was going to just be a copy of the first one, and they kind of threw that out right away and to comedic effect, which I enjoyed. So I had the same expectations. Alex, there's definitely laughs. Sure. No, I had the same expectations, Alex, as you did going into it, and one kind of comment like I can make as a film, it probably could have lost about 20 minutes.
Oh yeah. No comedy should be over 100 minutes, really.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly
I'm looking at you, bud.
I'm not exactly sure where you take out those 20 minutes, but there is some stuff. Actually, there are some gags who are kind of like, this feels like I'm watching a director's cut. You probably could have trimmed down a little bit. Some gags I could bring him specifically. Matt hasn't seen it yet, so I'll leave that to him.
I'm sure a lot of listeners haven't, or I don't even think Matt's going to see it. I don't know if he has the same.
It's something that I didn't have a connection with Dumb and Dumber. This doesn't. I don't know. It didn't look good, and I'm not going to spend my time on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't think it looks good, it's not gonna. It's really not going to exceed your expectations. And there's a lot of good movies to see right now. Exactly. Including the one we'll discuss in a second there. But I will just say I saw it with a friend of the show and a fan of the show, Mark Haverstock. What's up, Mark? And
I saw on Facebook. He hated it.
He hated it. Yeah, I saw it with him. Yeah. And what did we say? I think we said it was the worst brothers had directed, and then I immediately quit. And they made Hall Pass, so it's not good. So,
I didn't see Hall Pass.
Yeah, Hall Pass is not very good either. I don't know. Like, when was the last time the Farrelly brothers, had a good movie? Like we said, probably there's something about Mary.
I found
out a little funny thing about that. I found a funny thing about that, which is Brett Favre was actually the third guy they cast in that role.
Who's the first two?
Well, they're from New England. So the first one was Drew Bledsoe. And he had just had something. What?
Oh, I guess he just lost the Super Bowl when that movie was made, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the starter for the Pats. Like, he was up, and even when they won the Super Bowl, it came down to a debate on who was the better guy to play, and a lot of people didn't think Brady was. So, yeah, I mean, he was a big star. He just signed like $100 million contract. So, yeah, he was very popular.
Okay. Sorry.
Second fan. Was Steve Young, which Steve Young said he loved the script, but because he's a Mormon, he was like, look.
Steve Young's a Mormon.
He went to Brigham Young.
Yeah, BYU.
He went to BYU. He went to Brigham Young, which is named after his great grandfather, who helped
I did not know Brigham Young was a really Mormon university.
He's related to Brigham Young?
Yeah, in some way.
I did not know that. Okay, yeah, super Mormon. For some reason, though, their logo on their helmets looks like a big Yahoo logo. That seems a bit weird.
It does, that Y logo.
Yeah.
Is Yahoo Mormon? Is that why people don't use it?
They're not.
Use Google instead. What's Google?
Up until about 10 years ago, I confused the Farrelly brothers and the Coen brothers. Discuss.
They're extremely similar.
I want to take that. So Young is the great grandson of Brigham Young, second president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Holy carpal tunnel syndrome.
Yeah, I agree.
He had, which is why he retired. That's crazy. Okay, so Steve Young
retired
would do it
because of his chronic, because of his chronic carpal tunnel.
And then Brett Favre said later that I hope they have the technology to send photos to other phones because I have some ideas. I have some thoughts. I can actually make this work for me, and that's why he signed on to something about Mary.
A small joke with a goat in Dumb and Dumber 2 that I liked a lot.
All right.
I'm going to say no more than that, and Will's trying to think of something. I don't know if he knows what I'm talking about, but that's okay.
No, it'll hit me, and hopefully it hits me when the podcast is over because I'll just blurt out the joke.
Yeah, don't blurt. Don't blurt.
Paul Blurt Mall, Kurt. Alex, I drove by a movie theater this week, and I saw on the marquee something that probably made you quite happy. I drove by the Oxford Theater in Halifax. I saw that playing at 5, 7:45, and 10:30 was a movie called Birdman.
Yeah, so I saw Birdman and Dumb and Dumber 2 on the same day.
Wow. What did you see first?
Let's make one thing positively clear when we talk about movie reviews, by the way, because you guys seem shocked that I've seen all the Transformer movies and like a bunch of movies in theaters. I'm within like a half hour's walking distance to 3 different movie theaters here in downtown Vancouver, so I have a lot less. I'll say I have a lot less to sacrifice as far as my time goes to go see a movie. It's a lot easier for me to do that. So I know that, Matt, for instance, you're not just going to head to the Cineplex. I want to say multiplex, but the name of the company is Cineplex.
Right down
there's Park
really
Lane.
Close by.
There is Park Lane that I would go to.
Okay, there's Park Lane. Okay, so it's easier for you to see a movie. All right,
it was really easy in Saskatoon. When I lived in Saskatoon, I was like a 10-minute drive away from a mall that had a theater that had 8 screens, and another one that was a second-run theater. So even if I didn't want to see something, I'd say, you know what, I'll spend $2 on a Tuesday and watch the RoboCop remake, which I did.
And that is something that Halifax sorely lacks.
I really miss the second run theater. I don't know how you can start it up and make any money from it. I feel like it has to be a theater that used to be a first run one that they had to kind of chop down. But man, I would love it because it's so good for watching movies. You're like, I don't want to watch that right now, but I want to watch it in 2 months for $3.
Mm-hmm. We have a second-run theater here in a place the building is called, it's supposed to be this big mall called Tinseltown, which is now this derelict, empty mall that looks like 15 years old, like too dated and too specific for the time it was built. It's really sad. But it's a second-run theater, and it's a little bit cheaper. I saw Birdman in kind of our version of – and I've never seen a movie at the Oxford Cinema, but I saw we have this little – theater on it's called Fifth Avenue out here, and it's tiny little rooms. I saw Hitchcock there years ago. It's got tiny little rooms and
you saw Hitch there, the Will Smith
small. Yeah, I did. Yeah, okay. And that was starring Paul Blart himself, Kevin James, who was Mick Foley's buddy and wasn't his buddy in school, but he was like the big bully.
They were on the same wrestling team.
Yeah, he said Kevin James is kind of like the big bully in school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little bit.
That kind of bums me out.
I'm not going to see a Paul Blart 2 again.
I'll admit I'm indifferent to his bullying status.
So can I take the lead on
Alex?
May I take the lead on Birdman, Alex? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I will say going into this movie, I was supposed to see this movie with a friend of mine. She won't get mentioned, but we've resolved the conflict.
The Queen.
The Queen, yeah.
You said he wasn't going to mention her, Alex.
Sorry.
She said, I was like, all right, let's go see Birdman tomorrow. Sure. And then that morning, she's like, "Oh, I saw the preview, and I don't want to see it." I'm like, "Right? Okay." And then she's like, and then she goes, "What else do you want to see?" I said, "You can watch whatever the heck you want to. I'm going to see this movie." Yeah, I had a bunch of guys around me. And they were like waving towels, like, "Oh!" Yeah, it's just like it hit a sick.
Watching Arsenio.
Yeah.
Where my dog pounder?
Have we seen his new show, by the way, Arsenio? He's still on the air.
It's canceled, by the way.
That got canceled.
Oh, never mind.
I've
seen the Paul Scherio Hall show.
For sure. You got canceled for sure. So she said she doesn't want to see it, so I'm just like, I'm going to see this movie. So, I kind of had a bit of a chip in my shoulder going in to see it. I did not. I heard about this preview.
Looked at, by the way, that chip in your shoulder.
Yeah, I know. It really bothers me.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me when I do my DDP yoga, though. DDP yoga is a strength and fitness system that's suitable for people of all ages and all fitness levels. You can order the Max Pack now. Use the code Triple Threat Podcast, and you won't get a discount.
Even if you're a lard ass like Stone Cold Steve Austin eating too much Wendy's barbecue, you can still do it.
I went to Wendy's the other day, and they didn't have pulled pork. I was like, anything Steve Austin advertises has to be good enough.
Yeah.
Advertising pulled pork sandwiches and Wendy's. On his podcast, he's like,
"You come from Texas, he's
talking about how big he is, how fat he looks.
Barbecue. Yep.
He's like, the wardrobe guy gave me a gray T-shirt. I never wear a gray T-shirt. He gave me a gray T-shirt, and it was not flattering on my figure. I'm a bigger guy." Anyway, see, there's a Stone Cold Steve Austin impression.
So I apologize for
that. That was outlawed. So. Where was
you were about to start
watching
this movie?
So I didn't see a preview for this. I just kind of heard about it
from me
and from you and from Ian Halen, friend of the show, been on the show. So I just went in kind of not knowing that it was about making a play, and I was like, "Oh, that makes it infinitely better." Any show that's about making a show, I just love. It's about a play. It's about actors. It's about Hollywood. It's about being a father and trying to live your life after you've been the man, and what happens after that, because you got a life to live after that. But that's basically all I can say about the plot. It's probably one of the best acted movies I've seen in a while. Mm-hmm. It's one of the most interestingly. It's interestingly shot, but not in a distracting kind of R.I.P. Tony Scott kind of way.
Yeah,
it's directed by this I want to say Spanish fella, and
1/3 of the tenors,
and 1/3 of the tenors. It's Sunday Night Domingo, or whatever his name is.
Sunday.
Another movie where the less you know about it, the better.
Yeah,
I guess that's what you can say about all movies. But I think Michael Keaton turns in an excellent performance. Two of my favorites were Ed Norton.
Norton's fantastic. Yeah.
And somewhat surprisingly, Zach Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis is also awesome in it. It's really interestingly shot, and you'll pick up on that pretty much right away. So check that out. But I thought it was really well acted and shot, and it was unique, for lack of a better term. Really, really interesting. You don't see a lot of movies like that come out very often, so I liked it a lot, and I had expectations going into it. But I thought it was really well done, kind of throughout.
Yeah, it's so the director is Alejandro Gonzalez. There's a lot of accents there. I don't know how to pronounce, but he directed. So let's give you an idea of what kind of movie this is. He directed 21 Grams and who knows how to pronounce this? Babel or Babel?
Babel,
one of the two. And Amaros Perros and Beautiful with Javier Bardem. So he's directed some interesting stuff, but. There's something you might notice partway through, like I did, about how it's shot that will kind of just once it hits you, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
That's all you can see.
Yeah, and that's all I'll say. But I give high recommendation to Birdman. I really think you're going to hear a lot about this, especially around Oscar season.
Yeah, it's kind of right at the precipice of just kind of getting into that talk. So I think that'll be up there for sure.
Yeah.
If not for just a random performance. I mean, with the 10 nominees now, it could sneak in as a BP nom. It's got a lot of good reviews, kind of, straight through. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's very
good.
Yeah, I recommend Matt definitely check that out.
All right.
Definitely check out Birdman if you like some snappy dialogue or snappy Joes. Sorry.
Slappy Joe.
IMDb has changed its layout. What do you guys think?
Fine, I guess.
Okay, interesting.
I look at my phone.
Interesting.
Phones look the same. I don't know. I really don't have. Let's review that. So
IMDb website
six
review.
6 stars.
I have a video game review. The new tracks in Mario Kart Wii U have been released. You can finally race as Link in Hyrule, which is really cool. They have a Zelda course. They also have a F-Zero course, which I guess makes perfect sense since they're both racing games. But they included all the F-Zero sounds, which is a nice send up. And then next week, the new Smash Brothers for Wii U comes out, and I'm looking forward to playing that because I've been playing it on my 3DS, where I will get eventually Ocarina of Time on my 3DS. I can take that everywhere, and Majora's Mask when it comes out next spring.
That's just coming out now, eh?
Which one?
The new
Super
Smash Brothers. I feel like Conan reviewed it on Clueless Gamer like 3 months ago.
It was a while ago.
But maybe it wasn't that long ago. But
it was pretty long ago.
Long
it
enough
was
for
probably,
me to question how long
it was probably an earlier version because they're probably pretty much done it years ago.
Nope.
Years ago, months ago. Okay, cheese.
Nope.
Cheese Louise, Mama Cheese. Was it on Wii U or on the 3DS?
Wii U.
For the Wii U. Okay.
Yeah. I think. I wasn't really paying attention.
What else have I been playing? Oh, I went to the, I mentioned last week, I went to the Canucks game on Friday.
Yeah, well, let's hear about the Canucks game you went to.
It was #Nagood at all. It was a darn shame. The highlight was the 12-year-old anthem singer who got a pretty good pop after the Star Spangled Banner and who needed to pick up the cadence a little bit. No Canada. Let's go, kid. We got hockey to play. Maybe the slowest Air Canada. Nope. Oh, Canada. I've heard in quite some time. So she was a highlight, and the seats were good. I was directly behind the home team. I guess the away net. So the team we're shooting on twice. And it's 1-0 after 2. Okay, it's all right. We're still in this. And then Martin Hansel scores a controversial goal where his stick was clearly above the crossbar. And you'd have to look at the replay to see it. Matt, if you haven't seen it, I think you'll be perhaps as outraged as I was because I was very upset. Sticks above the crossbar, scores the second goal. About 5 seconds later, he scores his third, gets the hat trick, and it's just 3-0 that quick, and then it makes it 4-0 after 2, and they pot another one in late in the third, and it's just 5-0 to Arizona. I mean, we were near the top of the Western Conference standings. Arizona was directly at the bottom, and we lost to them in 5-0. It's you ever see your team get shut out at home? It's roof stoof.
Especially against Arizona. Like, not a good
against
team.
Arizona. Well, it looks like they woke up because Hansel got a hat trick and Shane Doan got one. Like, ugh. It was not good. It was not good. And it's just sad to see everybody kind of leave the barn halfway through or, toward the end of the third period. Like, we don't even get one. On Devin Dubnyk. Don't even get one goal.
Dubnyk was playing. Wow. I was going to say, I just exchanged Ryan Miller for Mike Smith in one of my fantasy leagues. Or my only hockey fantasy league. So that game did not inspire any confidence in my decision. But I think overall it'll pay off because it's dumb to start Mike Smith over Ryan Miller on wins alone, really. Because, Arizona was not good.
And Ryan Miller,
not good.
It didn't make any sense. Like the team I saw on TV and the team I saw in Rogers Arena that night were honestly two different teams. And the Canucks were operating near full strength. They didn't have Cassian or Spiza, but they had, their first line, second line. They were
Spezza. It's pronounced Spezza.
Yeah, in Dallas. No, the first line was intact, and they just really couldn't get anything going. I think Phoenix played defensively quite well. They were really good at getting their stick blades in the passing lanes. Yeah, it was a bad time at the barn. I'm looking forward to getting back there some night to watch to watch a good game, an entertaining game, like they played against Ottawa on Tuesday. That would have been an entertaining game to go see.
Yeah. That's it. That's the crapshoot with live sports all the time. Is I was going to like say a stand-up comedy show or like a play or something. Usually, you know what you're getting into. You're like, this is going to be, it's going to be good.
Or if you go to see, because you've seen
concert
both
or a concert
live, or a concert, but you've seen both these things now, Alex, live, and that's kind of my thing about UFC is that if you go to a wrestling show and the main event is two guys, the main event's probably going to last 20, 25 minutes, most likely, right?
Yep.
Go to a UFC show, the main event can last maybe it can, or it can go the distance, right?
It could be equally as bad.
It could go an exciting 8 seconds, or it can go a boring, decision or whatever. But that's the crapshoot with UFC, and the crapshoot with sports. It's like, all right, let's go. The Broncos fans who went to the Super Bowl this year. Right, because they existed. They did not anticipate any of that. A buddy of mine who was in Yuki with a couple weeks ago, big Seahawks fan, went down to see the Seahawks and the Cowboys. Oh, let's go Seahawks! They're going to win. First home loss in quite a long time against the Cowboys.
Wow.
So that you're right. That's the crapshoot with sports. Sometimes you go there and your team just crushes, like we kind of expected them to against Arizona. I mean, I didn't think we get too many goals, but I thought maybe it'd be something. I didn't think Arizona would get that much bias. We definitely we need to play better defensively.
It's funny because I went down to Houston last year to see the Patriots play. And at the time that's I got the tickets, it was a good game because the Pats had made the playoffs and actually beat the Texans the previous year. So you buy those tickets before the season starts. You're like, here we go. This is going to be a big matchup. It was a 5:00 game. I was like, could get flexed to prime time if they're both good. Two solid AFC teams. And Houston started the season 2-0, and then they promptly lost 10 straight. So when the Pats went in there, I think the Pats were 10-9-3, 10-2 ish, and then the Texans were 2-10. So first thing, I didn't feel any fear walking in there with the opposing jersey on, and didn't really receive much back in terms of a few people yelled stuff at me, but they didn't really have a leg to stand on. So, but that's a big trip.
Yeah, you go there. Too.
We weren't in a box. We were in just the club level, I guess. So you can get drinks delivered to your seat and stuff like that. Kind of in the corner of the end zone. No. But they were corporate seats, for lack of a better term. So watching the game, it did not start off well for the Pats. I think they were down, I want to say 17-7 at halftime or something like that. So watching the game, my girlfriend at the time, she was mortified because she really wanted the Pats to win so bad. And I actually at the time I didn't care. Because one, I was pretty confident that was kind of the year the Pats kept on coming back all the time against the Browns, against the Texans, against the Broncos. And it was the week after the Broncos game, actually, where they came back from 24-0 at halftime. So I wasn't really all that concerned. And they ended up coming back to win it off a Gostowski field goal to win it, I think, 34-31. But that was one where I didn't care. I was so happy to see the Pats play live and kind of take in the tailgating at the end. Because going to an NFL game is just a whole experience of its own if you've never been.
Especially
down in
Texas.
Houston. Yeah,
I mean, their team's only been there for 11 years in the time you saw them, but they also did have the Oilers back in the day, and it's football in Texas. I mean, it's a no-brainer that Houston would have a team. Should have a team in El Paso.
Yeah, so that adds to it. But in that case, I didn't care, and Brady, Gronk caught it.
So did you feel the same way about? I kind of, Alex, felt the same way about WrestleMania 27. That wasn't a good show. It might be one of the worst WrestleManias they had in the last 10 years, but it was also, I enjoyed the atmosphere. It's cool that I was at a WrestleMania. Did you feel the same way when you saw UFC in Halifax? You're like, well, however this show goes, it'll be what it's going to be. But here I am seeing UFC live for 7 hours or however long the show was.
Six and a half hours, however long it was.
Yeah, definitely got your money's worth.
Exact same thing. It was just really cool to see the UFC live and in person. And, even like Bruce Buffer gets an ovation. The announcer, when they announce Herb Dean's the referee, he gets everyone's just excited to see anything happen. Like, oh my God, these people are here. I see them on TV all the time. And you're in Halifax. You don't get a lot of concerts come here. You don't get a lot
Halifax
of
goes nuts for everything.
Sporting events. So
that's why I flew back for Metallica.
Yeah,
I was like, I gotta see Metallica at home. Like, I know they'll come to
see
Vancouver.
Go see my guy. Yeah, I get that.
And that was fun. Matt, can you think of any show that you saw where you're like, no matter what happens at this concert / movie, or not movie? Yeah, movie's a big deal. Concert / sporting event. I mean, you were with us. You were with us when we watched Raw, weren't you, Matt, or SmackDown?
Raw was one of those ones that I was like, "This is going to be huge, no matter what."
Yeah, because it's a TV show. It's Raw. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Even though that was now 11 years ago, it was cool. It was very cool. I don't think it was that great.
Intercontinental title came back. We had a beer bash. No, it wasn't a great Raw. It was a terrible Raw.
It wasn't that bad. Steve Austin drank beer with Goldberg, and
it was just that fight
Triple H. Triple H fought Kevin Nash in the street. They were in the streets of Halifax. They were on the highlight reel, too, I believe. That's why they were fighting.
Yes.
They were on the highlight reel. The good thing about that Raw is that it was 2 hours long. And I know the teams are not yet – I'm going to look this up right now. Actually, I'm going to look this up right now.
Survivor Series. We'll talk about it.
Well, just real quick, because it is next week, so we might as well just ask who is going to win between Team Cena, and I'll give you the members here in a second, and Team Authority.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first Team Cena ever in Survivor Series. He's never main evented a Survivor Series before.
Now, that's a really good question.
That was a complete joke. I'm sure he's main evented the last 14 of them.
Safe bet.
Yeah,
Team Orton versus Team Triple H, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown.
Orton versus Team Triple H. What I missed there is he no longer part of the Authority?
No, that was 2004.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was now. I was like, what did I miss?
We actually watched that one, I think. Orton, Benoit, Jericho, and Maven against Team Triple H was Triple H, Edge, Batista, and Triple H, Edge, Batista, and Snitsky. That was the team.
Wow, Gene Snitsky. Get it, son?
Okay, so I guess there wasn't really a Team Cena, and we have Team Cena against Team Authority. Actually, there's only 3 matches made for this show at the time of this recording, Monday morning. But it's Team Authority and Team Cena. So Cena is Cena, Ziggler, Show, Sheamus, and blank. And Team Authority is Rollins, Kane, Mark Henry, Rusev, and blank. With Ryback kind of flip-flopping on either side, I guess.
Is he making a comeback or what?
Ryback made a big comeback. Yeah, he came back 2 weeks ago by himself, so there's no more Rybaxel. He came back 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Did they break up or just kind of like he's back from surgery and they're no longer friends?
Yeah, they just kind of weren't on TV for a long time, and obviously people are going to forget about them because they're just not important, to the show. They're not in the tag title picture, so they don't matter.
Is he a face
they came back. He was a face, and he's kind of a heel. Actually, I think the TBA on the other match should be Luke Harper because I think he said he would join Team Authority.
Where was it that they went bananas for when he was part of Ryback? It might have been Vegas, where it might be where Ryback is.
No, it was Vegas. Yeah,
bonkers for him, and he was loving it.
Yeah. He was having a good time. So I'm kind of hoping
China's still cool.
I was kind of hoping that if I don't know how he is health wise, that maybe Daniel Bryan would come back and join Team Cena, but that would do one of two things. That would be perhaps impossible because he's not healthy enough, or that would overshadow the entire event so much.
Or CM Punk.
But he's I still think he's a long way away. That's the big question. A lot of people, like I listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts, and people are on both sides of it. Most people think he will. And Jake Roberts was like, "I have a message for CM Punk. Jim Ross, if you want me to say it." And he said, he's just like, you made a big mistake. It's like financially and for your future, you made a big mistake. You should come back and just patch things over because you want to be on these guys' good sides, basically. But I would like to see it's tough. I'd like to see Punk come back, but that's a really hard breakup to come back from. Like that's, I don't know. what he's going to do what he wants to do. Quite frankly, I can't believe he lasted as long as he did. But I was happy he did, and I was too bad to see him go. I think he's a vital part of the show that was all of a sudden missing. And I have his merch, and I feel like kind of a tool when I go to a show and I wear his merch. I'm like, yeah, this guy's not here.
Feed me more. No, okay, wrong guy.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. The stipulation in this match is that if Cena's team wins, then the Authority is no longer the Authority, which I'd like to see that pot get stirred up. Certainly.
What does that even mean, though?
It means that somebody else will be in charge, I guess. But I'm a little tired of like, I'm in charge and I make the rules. Boo! This guy's going to stand up against you guys. All right, well, yeah, that's just such. It's just this rehash of McMahon and Austin. You can't rehash that. That was what it was at the time, and you drew a lot of money, and you sold a lot of tickets and merchandise from that, and that is kind of what begot the Attitude Era. But it's not anymore. So just try something else. Try something else. Like try to get something else over.
It worked for a bit, especially with, I will say, Daniel Bryan. That worked really well, and it was kind of a rehash with the whole like when he took over Raw and get out of the ring unless Triple H fought him at WrestleMania. So it has worked a bit, and you just have to. You also have the right guy for it.
Because John Cena's he's not the right anti-authority guy,
and he's not over enough for it.
Because John Cena comes out and he salutes like he kind of is the Authority.
Yeah.
He kind of is the man
from
in a way.
The Smarks point of view.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't hold a lot of
Brian
water.
had everybody on his side. No, it does a bit though.
No, you're right. Brian had everybody on his side. He's more believable as an anti-authority figure, and so is CM Punk. He's going to sit down, speak his mind. He's got that kind of alternative look, and so does Daniel Bryan. They talk about him not looking like a superstar. He doesn't, but he's awesome. And he's got the beard, and he's got the long hair, and he's just like he's just a little firecracker who unfortunately got hurt, but. Yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Survivor Series is a good time. I am missing the WWE title. I would like to see Brock maybe show up on a show and be like, "Don't forget this exists."
He's not even in Survivor Series.
He's not on the show. No, there's no title match, and there probably won't be a title match according to what Jared says in his podcast. There's not a title match probably until Royal Rumble. So I don't know what TLC is going to be about, but they're going to have to keep fighting over this Authority because that's kind of the unofficial title they're all fighting over.
How do they not have the Chasing Waterfalls match yet at TLC?
I don't. He's stuck into the rivers and the lakes that he's used to, King.
Oh, no. The first man to get up the waterfall and retrieve that belt. I don't know who's saying this, but they're saying it with an accent. I think
it's Johnny Hendricks.
I think it is Johnny Hendricks.
Yeah, I earned it. I want that belt. Well, he has the belt now. They should do a ladder match, a lava match. They should do the first lava match at Survivor Series. Anything else this week, guys? We've talked about everything we need to. Reviewed some stuff. Some movies, some books, some video games, some wrestling, some live events, some hockey, some football. Okay, we hit all our topics.
Arguably too much.
Hey, it's never too much. It's never too much. Nothing's over.
It ain't over till it's over. What's that from, the 80s? Check out Rocky Balboa. Great movie.
It's the 90s, dude. We're going to sue you.
You're gonna pound my face. Take a seat. I said take a seat. Funny. That's real funny. I was frozen today.
Never seen Suburban Commando. This is all
Suburban Commando was my. I think it was my 11th birthday party movie. Was Suburban Commando, and I freaked out when the guy turned into a lizard.
You freaked out negatively.
No, it was scary. I want to see if I can find Suburban Commando Director's Cut on Criterion Blu-ray. I think it exists. So if you're on eBay, check out Suburban Commando Criterion Edition on Blu-ray, signed by Hulk Hogan. But it's signed as Terry Bollea. That's the rarest thing in the world. You can find me on Twitter at William C. Vaughn. Oh, I tweeted some good stuff this week. I'm hilarious. I'm like Dick Cannon.
Oh, we forgot to do that. Darn it.
Whatever. We'll do it never again.
Do it next semester.
Next semester. And Alex, you're on Twitter at
Evaunics. EVAUGHANICS.
Matt, you're on Twitter at
Spinning my Twitter gold at MPVaughn.
Hitting that Twitter goal.
Thanks a lot for joining us this week. Next week, we'll come at you with the... what should we do next week? Maybe we'll do the Beatles quiz. We haven't done a quiz in a while.
We can do a musical one. That would be nice.
Just sing the whole podcast? Yeah, okay.
Let's do that.
Okay, here we go. Thanks for listening all this week. We're going to be next back with another show. Next back? Nope. Okay, I already screwed that up. Darn it.
Catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flippity flop.
Flippity flop.
Flippity flop on the back end side. Thanks a lot, guys.
Sippity soppity, show me the boppity.